Good morning, boys and girls. We've been studying about Joseph, and the last time we studied about Joseph, he was still in Egypt, and the king of the land had rescued him out of prison, right? And this story is going to happen 7 or 9 years after that, and back in Canaan, where Joseph was born, his father was still living there and his brothers, but they were getting really, really hungry because they didn't have any food. Joseph's father heard that there was food in Egypt, and so he sent all of his boys, not all of them, just 10 of them, to Egypt. Now we need to remember that when Joseph left Egypt, he looked very different than the way he looked today. In fact, today in our story, he wore Egyptian clothes, he talked the Egyptian language, and he was really a powerful, important person. So his brothers didn't recognize him. So we're going to start today. I'm going to show you a picture of myself when I was a child, and you tell me if I look like I do today. So this is probably a 4-year or 5-year-old picture of me. I look a lot different. Maybe I'm a little bit older. I don't know. Julia, let's see a picture of you about 4 years old. There's a picture of Julia. So now, boys and girls, we want you to think about Julia when she's an adult. She's probably not going to look like that. And of course, I did not at all. I do not look like the child you just saw. So let's put out our arms and let's walk on a long journey. So let's get our walking sticks and let's go. Walk, walk, walk. That's what Joseph's brothers had to do. They had to walk. It was a long ways to Egypt. And when they got to Egypt, they found the person that was selling the grain. Now, they needed this grain to make food for them. They needed it for flour, maybe some cookies, and some important things. When they got to this person, they bowed down before him. And boys and girls, this is all true. You, as soon as you get ready to read, or perhaps your parents or older siblings could read this to you, we find this story that we're going to talk about today in 4 chapters in Genesis, from Genesis 41 to Genesis 45. There's a lot in these books. It would be great if you could read it and learn more than I'm going to be able to tell you in this short time. So they bowed before him, and Joseph recognized them. He said, "These are my brothers." And he sold them grain. They took the grain back to Canaan to their father, and they were so happy because they were not going to starve. But pretty soon that grain all was gone. And so they went clear back to Egypt to get more grain. And then Joseph said to them, "You don't know who I am, but I am your brother Joseph." And they became really scared because all of a sudden they remembered how mean they were to Joseph when he was a younger boy and what they had done to sell him away. And they thought, "Oh no, Joseph is going to be really mean to us." But Joseph was not mean to them. He knew that God had been working in his life all those years, and he forgave them. The Bible talks a lot about forgiveness, and we know that when Jesus was sent to us, he was sent to forgive us. And Joseph forgave all of his brothers, and then he said to them, "I want you to go back to Canaan. I want you to bring my father to me and all of your families. Come here and live because we have plenty of food, and even bring your animals." And that's exactly what happened. And after many, many years, Joseph and his father were reunited, and it was a beautiful thing. We can show love to others too, even people that do bad things to us. So that's the end of our Joseph stories. Next week, we're going to start on some other wonderful men in the Old Testament. So we'll see you then, boys and girls. Goodbye.
Bye.